I know we're just kind of scratching the surface tonight, but the team has been here for multiple days.
They have been working hard.
Working hard.
These young men worked really hard to get here, and I said this earlier, but they deserve everything we can give them. All the shouting, all the hoopla.
Well, that is well said.
President Cantwell, I can't help but be so fired up when I see our new head football coach stand up on this stage. And I just wanted to ask you, when you see him walk up here and the response from this crowd, how that makes you feel.
Well, it makes me feel good, but, you know, and Kirby knows this. We all got to deliver. And I'm as much the person that has to deliver as anybody. But I will say we had great coach options, and Kirby Moore is the man, and he's the man because he fits us. He is one of us. He belongs here. And I hope you all treat him that way.
President Cantwell, I want to ask you, which is probably one of the biggest questions when it comes to new coaches being hired, what makes you confident in his staying ability?
Yeah, so staying ability is a really interesting question these days. But there are, you know, so he's really smart. He's proved himself over and over again. He's ready to be a head coach. There's no question in my mind. So the factor is, and I called it fit, but it's really that he is from our part of the country, and he understands not only us, who we are, who Cougs are, but he has pride of place, and that is really unusual in getting a fabulous, incredibly well-grounded head coach, has pride of your place. So that gives me a lot of hope.
I love that.
And it really seemed like the perfect storm of where he is at in his career and having that experience, ready for this opportunity, and someone who just knows the lay of the land when it comes to WSU and the Pac-12.
And if he doesn't know it, we're going to help him. I mean, and really, you know, what Kirby and I have talked about is, and you all know this Pac-12 is a brand new conference. It is not the old Pac-12. It is not an extension of what the Pac-12 was. It is, I call it a startup conference. And I think he really understands what's at stake for us is how we perform will translate to how the whole world sees WSU. And that's really important to understand, and so it's really important to compete and win in the new Pac-12.
Well, and I think it's important, right? I think what's amazing about that, right, new Pac-12 Commissioner Teresa Gould is here, right, and she, you know, the vision set forth with this new Pac-12, and I think everybody needs to understand this, the opportunity for Washington State to be at the forefront of college football, especially with this new, like the new TV rights deals and the opportunity to be out in front, I think is incredible. And so I totally agree with that.
And, you know, change is upon us forever,
100%.
Basically. And I think if you all don't think about this, Teresa Gould is a hero to me. Because she is really, as much as anybody, responsible for that vision that what we need to do is create a whole new conference. And it is cool already. It's going to be incredibly cool when we kick off our football season next year.
I completely agree, and I love it. And Oregon State, Washington State have been holding it together with, you know, maybe a little bit of crazy glue here and there. But what is your vision? I know Teresa's here as well, but what is your vision as we build this new conference?
Well, we really ought to give that mic to Teresa Gould.
I know, I tried. I tried to get her up here.
For Washington State, you know, as I said, this is a startup conference. So what's cool about startups? Lots of energy, doing new things that haven't been done before. Football is football. Football is not going to change. Mm-hmm. But all of the swirl that you talked about that's around it, things, federal legislation is going to change. I think the money game is going to continue to change. We're going to see all kinds of new deal structures. We're going to see all kinds of things that we have the opportunity to leapfrog into because we are not constrained by the past. We are a startup. We get to disrupt. And so that's the thing that, to me, is one of the most interesting and cool things about this new conference.
I really like that.
Well, and it is a great time right now because there's so much to be excited about for the future. But on top of that, we've got this game here tomorrow, a chance to get the program's first bowl victory since 2018. And these seniors who have been with WSU, a number of these guys have been here since day one of their college career, to send them out with a victory tomorrow.
We do, and so some of that's on us. We got to yell as loud as we can and be there for every single moment. I also think this is a really good chance for all of us to get a look at what the Pac-12 play will be like. Just give those young men every ounce of laser-beamed energy out as they're playing on the field tomorrow.
Well, and it is interesting that it's against a future Pac-12 opponent in Utah State.
It is.
We're playing at the home venue of a future Pac-12 opponent in
Yes,
Boise State.
We are. So we're getting used to it. And I think you can tell from the energy tonight, this is what it's going to feel like in this new Pac-12. This is what it's going to be like.
Well, it is so great to have you here. And before we let you loose, because I know it is a busy evening here in Boise with all these Cougs here, and that is important. So the last thing between you and dinner, what is that message you want to give to the fans here? And it is such a great turnout here at the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise. Or those listening in or tuning in, what do you want that final message to be?
You know, since I have become a major fundraiser for athletics, and that's going to stick with me for a long time. I would say that everything that all y'all can do to help this coach get the tools that he needs in order for us to be able to win in football. And you've just heard everything I believe about why this is such a cool venue. It's also the pathway. Winning is wonderful, and you've experienced it, you've experienced losing, but winning and being at the top of something that is disruptive and new is what we have to do across the board at WSU, in our academic side, in our community engagement side. So this is the leader for me of what the new WSU will be as we move into the 21st century.
It's exciting stuff. Thank you for being here. Go Cougs, and excited to have a great further of the evening here, and then can't wait for the game tomorrow.
Go Cougs!
Go Cougs!
President Cantwell joining us here. It is the Cougar Football Hour. It is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition here with Alex Brink and Jessamine McIntyre. A little a taste of what's to come. We will talk about the matchup. We will talk about Kirby Moore and the excitement around the future of Cougar football. We'll also have Interim Director of Athletics John Harlow stopping by as well. We are live here in front of this great crowd at the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise. We'll take a timeout. More after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game, experience it with your favorite game time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
If we know anything about Cougs fans, it's that a win isn't all you're hungry for on game day. So Northern Quest has a full lineup of restaurants and lounges ready to face any appetite. Cheer on your Cougs with craft beer and cocktails in front of Epic's 10 by 30 foot screen. Grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, or tackle a burger at Fat Burger, you know, before it tackles you. Full menus at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
When putting in a tree or fence post, we all hate it when our shovel hits a big rock. But there are worse things to come across, like a natural gas or electric line. Nowadays, buried utilities are everywhere, some just below the surface. That's why it's the law to call 811 before you dig, to have your lines marked ahead of time. It's free for Avista residential customers. So call 811 2 business days before you dig. You need time to pick out that perfect shrub anyway. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
Your audio home for all things Cougar Athletics is the Washington State Cougar Podcast Channel. Just search for Washington State Cougars on your favorite podcast platform to follow and subscribe to the official podcast home of the Cougs. Hear our original WSU Athletics podcast, plus replays from the Cougar Sports Network, including football pregame and postgame show coverage, full football game broadcast, and coaches shows. Find it all by searching for Washington State Cougars on your favorite podcast platform to start listening today.
We are back at the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise. It is the Cougar Football Hour, famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition. We've got a great crowd here, and for those just kind of jumping in on the radio show, tuning in, whether it's on YouTube or listening on the Cougar Sports Network, we had the band here earlier. We heard from President Cantwell, and Kirby Moore talked to the crowd here in Boise, and it was so great to hear from him as we're back with Alex Brink and Jessamine McIntyre. And, you know, our minds are on this Utah State game. We're going to talk about what's to come tomorrow, where we'll talk about what is the future of Cougar football as well. But this is a great opportunity, and the Cougs are back in a bowl game, and you look at the history for that, it's really remarkable what the program's been able to do. The 20th bowl game in program history, and the most impressive part, 9th in the last 10 full seasons, so not including 2020, and looking for that first bowl win since 2018, and the both of you were there for that game, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, and let's put that in context a little bit, right? 9 out of the last 10 full seasons. You look at some other programs on the West Coast like USC and UCLA, they haven't even been to as many bowl games, right, as Washington State has in that same time frame. And so, I think about the opportunity to be here in Boise. And not only is there the element of the national exposure that matters, the athletes getting to play for an extra month or so, and that part of it, but just the fact that the Cougar Head logo is out there and everybody is going to get to see it and recognize the success level that this program has had for a really long time.
And I look at it with Kirby Moore coming here. Yes, he is coming home, and I love to hear that about him, but this is a destination as well. He has climbed the ladder of being a football coach and came here because he wanted to. And I heard from several people who are very interested in this job. I had agents calling me, and I'm like, I'm the sideline reporter. I can't do anything. However, that is how interesting this job was to so many people, and Kirby Moore just fit so perfectly. And I'm really excited about that, but also that the fact that Washington State is a destination. And I don't know that I have heard that enough, prior to this season. So people want to be here. Kirby Moore is here, and he wants to be here, and he wants to stay here. And I think that is a really good message to send to Cougar Nation.
Well, and something that stuck with me last year when we were all down here when the Cougs played Boise State, and obviously ran into a very tough Boise State team with Ashton Genty, who is just an incredible. That's running into a buzzsaw with the season that Ashton Genty had last year. But the energy that the Coug fans brought last year, I remember the Friday night before that game, walking around downtown Boise and seeing all the crimson and gray here in downtown, and seeing the turnout that we have here tonight for this event. And I know that even the folks who aren't at this event, they're across downtown as well, getting ready for the game tomorrow, that this is a good spot to come to. There's everything's kind of close by. There's a lot of restaurants to go to, and it really fit well for the bowl game this year.
Yeah, I think geographically it was great. Playing Utah State makes a lot of sense in that sense. It's going to be a really good football game. Yeah, Utah State's a good program, great coach in Bronco Mendenhall. So I think from that aspect, you can watch a lot of bowl games during bowl season and be pretty underwhelmed with the storylines or what's happening. And in this one, there's reason to get excited and tune in and watch it. And I think for Coug fans, you get to preview, what Boise is and being a part of that. And, definitely echoing what President Cantwell said, the idea of the geography of what the new Pac-12 is and the footprint it brings in, I think can be really impactful. And so I think this is a good showcase of that.
Yeah, I would just say that land rights, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
State schools.
State schools, let's go. But what I really like is the passion, like you said, that it can get overlooked, just these bowl games, and this one has legs. This one actually speaks to the future of our conference, and I think that just gives it a little bit more. Some people might overlook it. 2 6-6 teams playing each other. This has legs, and it speaks to the future of our new Pac-12.
Well, we're excited to break down this matchup a little bit further on here in the Cougar Football Hour and kind of dive into what the Cougs have in front of them playing Utah State. But just this series with Utah State, there are going to be a lot more games played in the near future between the two programs. But tomorrow's going to be the 6th all-time meeting between WSU and Utah State. First ever in a bowl game. Cougs on the advantage 3-2. It was just last year at Giesa Field. Cougs won it 49-28. Utah State won the previous 2 games. That one in 2021, and then you go back. There was even a game played in Spokane on a neutral field in 1961. So there is some history there, a little bit of recent history, and that bowl championship. And I know for the Cougs, you get the victory, you get that 7th win of the year. That is a big benchmark to get to get there and secure for sure that winning record.
Yeah, again, I think the idea, and bowl season, it has its ups and downs as far as what it means to each team and obviously the destination of the bowl and all these things, but at a really base level, right, for the team, this really matters in the sense that they get to finish on a high note. Right. In the Washington State situation, you obviously have a new head coach coming in, but you got a lot of players on the roster that are trying to prove themselves and figure out what their fit is for next year. So getting to 7 wins, finishing on a high note, sending a senior class that, a group that have been with Washington State for a long time, and then a group that came in and really shed blood, sweat, and tears for Washington State this season. I thought sending that senior class outright, it means a lot to me. And so I'm excited from that standpoint that I think those young men are going to go out there regardless of the situation and play in a way that allows them to go out in the right way.
Yeah, I look at it the same way, where also when it comes to the players being with each other, yes, you get an extra month with your brothers. You get an extra month with, it's 4 weeks of your routine, and multiple people are going to be leaving, right? But you get to live the life that you have done 4 or 5 years in a row, and you get 4 or 5 more weeks of that. I couldn't imagine anything better.
I want to name check those seniors as well. The guys who have spent their entire careers at WSU. Brock Dew, unfortunately, has been banged up later on in the year, but someone who has just been an anchor for WSU on the offensive line, and that same could be said for Christian Hilborn as well. I remember having the conversation going into last year's Apple Cup. Who had played the most snaps for the Cougs going into last year's Apple Cup? In the Apple Cup, it was Christian Hilborn, and that wasn't even his final year of eligibility. Josh Meredith, Mr. Reliable for the Cougs. Leon Neal Jr., thinking back to the start of the year when he had his first career touchdown. Last year, he popped with that block punt in the bowl game, so had a notable Holiday Bowl. Leighton Smithson and Ram Stevenson actually had the chance to talk to Ram earlier today, and he said this is the best bowl experience that he's had so far in his Cougar career.
That's great.
I love that. I mean, bowl experiences, again, they can vary, right, depending on city, the events, right? I saw the athletes got to do sledding. They got to do, a shopping trip. Like, there's all these things that are a part of it that are also, in the lead up to the game. And so, I think oftentimes the cities and the bowl committees, right, they take certain pride in putting on an event for the athletes. And when they do it right, that's how the Sun Bowl's like that in El Paso. They do a really nice job, actually, and that because they care about it, right? And that's the vibe I get right from this bowl.
Yeah, I was gonna say San Antonio, the Alamo Bowl.
They were great.
That was what I noticed, and I'm like, oh, the entire offensive line just scooted by me on scooters. But Boise is doing such a wonderful job here as well, and I love the bowl experience, and I'm not playing. I'm not suiting up. I will be cold on a sideline and telling you what's going on down there. I love what the Bulls do, and this is really cool. It's an amazing experience, and I'm just so glad it's so close to Washington State so that so many of the Cougs can come.
And a lot of Cougs down here in the Treasure
So
Valley
many.
as well that able to make the very short trip, and for everyone else from around the region coming here as well. It is the Cougar Football Hour. It is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition of the show. Again, still to come, we'll have interim athletic director John Harlow stopping by. We'll get a chat with him, and we'll have more on the matchup. Cougs taking on Utah State. We'll remind you, for the folks who aren't here in the venue, our coverage tomorrow, it's an early one. Derek Dice and Billy Newman will be with you very early. Sip on that coffee. Tune in to Derek and Billy. 9 a.m. Pacific time is when the Coors Light Cougar Tailgate Show will begin. Kickoff at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so noon locally here in Boise. We'll take a timeout. More after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes every moment cheering on your team even better. Plus, the mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue when your beer is Rocky Mountain cold. So you never have to guess if your Coors Light is ready to drink. So crack one open, take a sip, and enjoy the game. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Dear Traction, Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4 has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real. And the Tacoma's wild side comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Guys, thanks for helping me carry my Christmas tree.
Zoe, this thing weighs a ton.
Drewski, lift with your legs, man.
Santa! Did you get my letter?
He's talking to you, Bridges.
I'm not that.
Of course he did. Right, Santa?
You know, my elf Drewski here, he handles the nice list.
An elf? I'm 6'3". What everyone wants is iPhone 17. And at T-Mobile, you can get it on them. That center stage front camera is amazing for group selfies. Right, Mrs. Claus?
I'm Mrs. Claus's much younger sister. And at T-Mobile, there's no trade-in needed when you switch, so you can keep your old phone.
Or give it as a gift.
And the best part, you can make the switch to T-Mobile from your phone in just 15 minutes.
Guys, my side of the tree is slipping.
Timber!
The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Switch in just 15 minutes and get iPhone 17 on us with no trade-in needed.
With 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Finance agreement 256 gigs, $830. Eligible port in a new line. $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Check out in 15 minutes or less per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
At the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise. It is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition of the Cougar Football Hour. Chris King joined with Alex Brink and Jessamine McIntyre, and we will have coming up in our next segment, Interim Director of Athletics at WSU, John Harlow, joining us, and excited to chat with him. But for now, it is an accomplishment to become bowl eligible and to reach this point. And obviously, this was a unique season with the schedule unlike any other in Cougar history. And I think probably until the end of time, this will be unlike any other in the history of the program. And with how difficult the schedule was, and I know going into the year that maybe some of the names of JMU and North Texas didn't grab maybe fans as much going into the season, but look at the years they've had on top of running into historic seasons for Ole Miss and Virginia. It ended up being quite the year, and getting to that 6-win mark with some such close calls that could have flipped some of those from losses to wins. It was quite the ride this year.
Yeah, quite the ride is a good description. I mean, that was a roller coaster of epic proportions, and I think coming into the year, right, with a new staff, 70-plus new players, you got new offensive and defensive schemes. Now that we've gotten to the end of it, you kind of look back and you realize, how, to your point, how good it was to get to 6 wins. It probably could have been 7 for sure, but again, the challenges that this team faced right off the bat, and to go through a quarterback change midseason, to have the travel schedule that they had, to face the quality of opponents that they had. I mean, to have 2 college football playoff teams on your schedule, a third in Virginia that probably could have been a college football playoff team, was right on the edge, right? If they get another, get a win at the end of the year. And then, I just think about, for the athletes, I don't think people realize kind of the challenge of some of the ups and downs, right? To get blown out at North Texas and to be able to recover from that and come back and find ways to get wins along the way, to put up incredible fight at Ole Miss, right? A game that you were in it, I mean, by all rights could have won. At Virginia should have won, right? And so, I think there's a little bit of coulda, shoulda, woulda, because once it all played out, you had your opportunities, and that's what's frustrating. But then on the other side of it, if you really think back to the fall and what you knew this could have been, that we're sitting here today in Boise at 6 wins and feeling like these athletes, they really ended up putting their best foot forward and getting to this point. Yeah, I think it's a success.
All I saw was fight. I saw a fight from the coaches. I saw a fight from the players. Every single person on that field. And that goes to the support staff as well, the trainers, the doctors, the medical staff, the training staff. Everyone is just fighting. And I think that, you kind of have to dive into the crevasse. The Cougs had to deal with that this year without a conference technically, and they just prevail. So that's what I see with this team, and also the challenging schedule. And I do give a lot of credit to the staff that made that happen, that schedule happen, because that was very difficult as well. And just seeing them climb out and prevail. And we're here for that reason right now.
Yeah, it feels like in a different world without the mental toughness that this group showed this year. it'd be a theme of, hey, we had to go to the East Coast back-to-back weeks. We had to go to Ole Miss.
Right.
And we had to go to Virginia back-to-back weeks, and having to go multiple time zones to travel 3 times this year to take on top 25 opponents. And that's enough that kind of gives you a built-in excuse if you allow it to become that. And that certainly was not the case.
No, and again, I think a lot of credit has to go to the players, right? I've heard a lot of Zeviak House this week. I talked to him a lot during the season. I think that young man deserves a ton of credit, right, for the way that he was able to manage not only his personal situation, but also the way he handled that team. 100%, absolutely. Please, he deserves a round of applause because I'm telling you, I've been there. I've been benched. I've had to go in after, maybe it wasn't my time, and then it was. That is a really hard thing to do, and the confidence that he showed, his leadership ability, and he was unwavering in his commitment to Washington State, and I thought that was so dang impressive. And he is one of the big reasons, again, this team got to 6 wins, and I think that entire senior class, because there's a lot of them, Josh Meredith, you mentioned Christian Hilborn, Brock Dew, the young men that came from South Dakota State, and really I thought, showed that same toughness that you're talking about of having to travel back-to-back long distances, take brutal losses, and then find a way to bounce back from it. Manage that the whole way. But, yeah, special shout-out to Zeviak House.
And for Zevi, too, I think back to when he really put himself on the map for WSU fans, and that was facing adversity last year in the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah.
And the team, certainly shorthanded in that game, and what Zevi was able to do with that collection of guys. And even though it ended up being a win, it made Cougs everywhere so proud of the fight that the team had last year.
I completely agree. I think we have our interim athletic director coming up here, so
we got John Harlow here. Let's take a break. We'll have John Harlow join us when we return after this. We are live at the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise. A great group of Cougs on hand. We're previewing the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Cougs take it on Utah State tomorrow. More after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
As proud Cougs, we always find our way back home. At McVeigh Brothers, we want to help all Cougs improve the value of your home. Hello, I'm Mike McVeigh from McVeigh Brothers Roofing, Siding, and Windows, a proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. The team of professionals at McVeigh Brothers take great pride in helping our customers remodel their homes with new entry doors, rain gutters, siding, roofing, and windows. At McVeigh Brothers, we're working for you.
Alliant Employee Benefits is the Inland Northwest leader in employee benefit consulting and brokerage. Alliant is a difference maker, providing employee benefit solutions and problem solving while helping companies grow and protect their business. Alliant keeps its clients on the forefront of the benefit industry's constant evolution while improving the benefits experience for employees through better health outcomes and more cost-effective care. Give Alliant a call and see what they can do for you.
If you use natural gas, you recognize its blue flame. But natural gas is actually invisible and odorless. That's why Avista adds a rotten egg scent, in case there's ever a leak. If you smell natural gas at home, get outside fast. Don't flip switches or do anything to cause a spark. Go somewhere safe. Call 911. Then Avista. We'll take care of the problem and tell you when it's okay to return. Till then, it's a good excuse to visit the neighbors. Avista. We just want you to be safe.
Download the WSU Cougars mobile app today, which features the latest news. Plus, it's your way to stream all of our Cougar Sports Network radio broadcasts. Listen to Cougar football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, baseball game broadcast, plus coaches shows, all for free with WSU Cougars Game Day app. Take our broadcast with you wherever you go. Available now by searching WSU Cougars Game Day in the Apple App Store or Google Play. This is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition of the Cougar Football Hour. Tonight's show is presented by Crimson and Gray. Visit them at 1096 Southeast Bishop Boulevard in Pullman, or find them at every Cougar Football Hour this season. Crimson and Gray, proud supporter of Cougar Athletics. Once again, back to downtown Boise. Here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
We are back at the Treefort Music Hall. Chris King here with Alex Brink and Jessamine McIntyre, getting you ready for tomorrow's famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Cougs taking on Utah State, 11 a.m. Pacific time kickoff, noon here in Boise. We're joined now by John Harlow, Interim Director of Athletics here at WSU. You are a busy man. How are you doing?
I'm good. What a crowd we have here tonight. Good to always catch up with this group, and been a wonderful trip here so far.
Yeah, this is an excellent crowd here. I love the turnout here, and just thinking about, you've been down here since Thursday, correct?
Yep.
So folks will be tuning into the game tomorrow, but this has been much more than just the game, the whole experience for everyone with the travel party. How has it been since being down here?
It's been great. Boise's been an incredibly welcoming city. The guys are having a really good time. Thursday night when they got in, they did some bagging food for some of the from the community to pass out meals. Friday we had sledding, so we had some 350 pound linemen.
Heard that was a big hit. I heard that was a big hit with the team.
It was awesome. They did an incredible job. Huge smiles. So of all the things that they've been through over the last couple of weeks and really couple of years for many of them, to see the smiles, to see them kind of giggling like kids was pretty awesome.
Can you peel back the curtain a little bit on like what bowl selection is like, right? Like we all kind of, you get to 6 wins, but that's not really the end of the story. Like there's all sorts of things in moving parts. Kind of like, can you peel back what that process is?
Yeah, so it's very much like a draft system. Pac-12 still has contracts with existing bowls. Some of the legacy Pac-12 schools have opportunities there as well, and so it's based on where you finish in that, and the bowls have picking order. Okay. So wherever you finish in that, bowls pick, and there's some sliding depending on the bowl, and but that's really just kind of they select it from there, and you go where you go.
What was the reaction from the team? And I'm sure it was pretty nice to the families that are close to here, but what was the reaction when you found out you'd be here in Boise?
Excitement. The team was excited for an opportunity to compete still with each other despite all the things that they've been through, and I think to be here in Boise, a great city, it's regionally, a place for our fans to travel to, a place that we'll be to on an annual basis or semi-annual basis here coming up. I think it was a great pre-holiday, so the kids can go back and spend time with their family as well, and so I think it was really an ideal situation.
And I can't wait to see the fans we have here tonight and everyone else, the crimson and gray turnout, the blue turf here in Boise. It maybe not the greatest on the eyes when you come from the WSU point of view, but I can't wait for that stadium to be filled with Coug fans coming up tomorrow.
There is no better fan base in the country than this one right here. We hear it everywhere that we go. It doesn't matter where we go on the road. Ole Miss, Virginia, JMU, Cougs travel, and they're loud, and they're always welcome back to all the cities that we go to. So grateful for this group. It's incredible.
All right, man, we got some crazy news a couple weeks ago. You turned around in 7 days and hired a new head football coach that I think we're all very excited about. So kudos to you, first of all. Again, I don't think everybody understands how fast that timeline is. So number one, that. 2, what excites you about Kirby Moore?
Yeah, Kirby's been awesome to work with, but you watch what he's done over his time. Obviously, he comes from an incredible pedigree of football. Son of a football coach, has worked for some of the greatest, or played for some of the greatest coaches that we've seen, Chris Peterson, Jeff Tedford, Coach DeBoer, obviously. He's very cerebral. He's very calculated. And the places that he's been able to be creative and be successful in everywhere he's gone. The football pedigree speaks for itself. Those credentials, the cherry on top of him being a Washingtonian, growing up 160-some miles away from campus, it's a great package for him.
I asked this to President Cantwell, so I'll ask you too, as an athletic director, what gives you confidence in his staying ability?
Yeah, I mean, he talks about doesn't want to buy a home, wants to build a home, and whether that's literal or metaphorical, I
like
think
both,
he's,
to be honest.
It's been wonderful. Everything that he talks about not just in the short term for success, but building something long term. And so when he speaks to that, it has power. And we also have to make sure that we're doing our part to bring him the resources to give him opportunities and the want to stay, because I know the passion for Pullman, for WSU is there, and I think he's going to be successful for a long time.
How can people help give him the resources?
Yeah, well, one of the we've talked about this in a couple of things like the press conference and any other opportunities we get in front of these groups, but several ways to support. So whether that's by buying tickets, season tickets, showing up. The big thing that we continue to push now is NIL. Obviously, everybody continues to hear about that. There's one thing we know for sure. If you don't participate in NIL, you're not going to have an opportunity to win. But giving you participating in it gives us an opportunity to compete, to retain, to recruit new Cougs. QR codes are on the table here, or you can go to our Cougar Athletic Fund website, contribute to the Football Excellence Fund. That goes straight to Coach and his staff's discretion to help, again, recruit and retain new Cougs. So that's going to be what powers us forward.
Thank you.
And with that, thinking about Kirby Moore, it feels like the stars aligned in so many ways, where he's at the point in his career where this is the perfect fit. There's an opening at WSU, but I mean, this bowl game is where he played his college career, where his brother played his college career. I know there's family ties to the kind of the greater region of Pullman and the Inland Northwest and the Palouse. It really seems like it all just lined up perfectly.
Couldn't have written it any better, right? The cinema that is the Cougs, I think, allowed us everything that's happened for a reason. We've got Kirby Moore, and he's going to propel us to the future.
I'm going to leave it at that. That was fantastic. We'll leave it right there, man. Come on.
I do.
Come on.
On that note, I have a follow-up that, I mean, everyone's moving at warp speed, and there is the game tomorrow, and no one is overlooking that. Everyone here is going to be cheering their hearts out for all of those guys representing WSU and trying to get that bowl victory, get that 7th win. I also know that you're busy empowering Kirby Moore as he's assembling the staff, as he's getting ready for the transfer portal to open, to make sure that this team is ready to attack 2026. How is that process going?
It's been great. I mean, we're kind of managing a couple of different processes, a couple of different staffs, but everyone that is here now, whether they're going elsewhere after this or they're incoming, they're Cougs. They've got the logo on their chest, and they're walking it, they're living it, they're breathing it. And although there's been a lot of mixes of paths here that we have right now, they're all in on winning tomorrow and then winning for the future. So I feel very good about the groups that we have.
I love that. And how about when it comes to recruiting? I know that Kirby is obviously just getting here, and who knows who might come. We saw a lot of South Dakota State people come with Jimmy Rogers. But, what do you think about the retention and the recruiting rate, I guess, the ratio?
Yeah, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know that
none of us
I do know that he has had good conversations with our group. He's obviously been here, been around the team this week. He's recruited from every geographical location in his previous stops, so I feel very good about. He's played at the level that they are, understands what it takes, has a brother that coaches at the highest level at the NFL. So if you want to talk ball and have somebody that can get you to the next level, Kirby Moore's your guy.
Hey, it's a decent selling point.
Not bad, right?
Yeah, not bad. And there's so much talent in the Northwest, on the West Coast. California has treated WSU so well over the years. He coached at Fresno State. He's been a high school player in the state of Washington. He's been through the recruitment process. His brother's been through the recruitment process. His dad has lived and breathed football in the state of Washington for decades and decades. It really is. It is awesome to think about what he can do.
Absolutely. And we're just going to we cut him loose. I don't think he's put the phone down since he's been here, other than to meet with staff or current students.
He was very kind. We got to
and he's
meet.
calculating. He's got his play call sheet for his day, and that's what he's going through. And so
I love it.
he's
I love a good coach.
Well, you learn from Chris Peterson, man. That's where that comes from. Coach Pete's got the processes down.
Well,
it's been fun to watch.
We've got you here for just another minute. I just want to give the floor to you. Final thoughts about what is coming up tomorrow. We've got this great crowd here tonight, the Cougar spirit that we have here in the building in downtown Boise. And then, of course, as we've been talking about not just what's to come tomorrow, but the future of WSU athletics.
Yeah, again, just cheer this group of guys on tomorrow. They've earned this opportunity to compete. Some of them, it's the last opportunity to put on a Cougar football jersey if they're graduating and moving on, and they've earned this. They've worked so hard. To watch them this week has been incredible with their energy. They are a brotherhood, and that's been really awesome to watch them practice. And then now with the new staff coming in, we've got to wrap them in support, and they're going to do their part. The football piece is going to take care of itself. We've got to wrap them again in the ticket sales, showing up, being loud as we always are, and then NIL. There's got to be a focus there. So go Cougs.
Well said. Go Cougs. John, thanks for spending a few minutes with us here. Again, that is John Harlow, Interim Director of Athletics at WSU, stopping by to chat with us here. We're at Treefort Music Hall. This is a great venue. This is the first time, I think officially, we've ever done a Cougar football hour where there's a disco ball where we could throw a football and hit it there. You know it's a party.
Brink will nail it. We know he will.
Well, that pinpoint, actually, there we go. The lights are even on or off. Boy,
like that.
I'll say, if you're ever in Boise and you need to rent a venue, I think this is your spot right here. here. This has been an excellent host for the Cougar Football Hour. We're talking about tomorrow's famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Cougs take it on Utah State. 11 a.m. Pacific time kickoff, noon here locally. Again, our coverage on the Cougar Sports Network will start at 9 a.m. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about that matchup. We'll have a preview what the Cougs will be facing against Utah State. All after this, you're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. Rural communities face unique healthcare challenges. By providing hands-on opportunities for WSU students in health sciences, nursing, pharmacy, and the Elson Floyd College of Medicine, Pullman Regional Hospital is helping to shape the future of local healthcare. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State. Partners in excellence.
Just the 2 more breaks. Just
Play,
reconfirming that, right?
Stay, get away at Clearwater River Casino in Lewiston, Idaho. Owned and operated by the Nez Perce Tribe. Experience Namipu hospitality with 600 gaming machines, comfortable lodging, dining, and sports bar. Excitement is everywhere. The region's premier destination for events and entertainment. Win big with unforgettable concerts, comedy shows, and live sports action. Discover your next play, stay, get away. Visit crcasino.com and start your adventure today.
Sniffles and sneezes got you down? GoodRx is here to help with big savings on commonly prescribed cold and flu meds. GoodRx is free and easy to use. GoodRx is accepted at
Athletics every time you pay your monthly bill. No contracts, no hidden fees, no reason to wait. Switch now to the only phone plan built for Coug fans and on the T-Mobile 5G network. Visit CougsMobile.com.
We are back at the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise. It is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition of the Cougar Football Hour. I want to give a special thanks to the folks making it happen here at the Treefort Music Hall and doing a great job of getting all of this set up. And also on the audio side, Jerry Kylo, the video side, Jared Pringruber. If you're tuning in on YouTube, we're streaming this live. Thanks to Jared Pringruber. On the audio side, as always, Jerry Kylo making it happen on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here, Chris King with Alex Brink. Now we turn our attention to this matchup tomorrow. Utah State, the opponent, and they've got a coach who, had a victory over WSU last year, which was a signature win for Bronco Mendenhall in his short time in New Mexico. So this is the same coach, and there's a number of guys who kind of carried over from New Mexico to Utah State. Utah State, a quality season. Bronco Mendenhall only in his first year there, but he's done a lot in his career, whether it's at BYU or Hawaii. He's taken one of his teams bowling.
Yeah, and speaking to Bronco Mendenhall, I mean, I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in college football. You think about what he did at BYU. He goes to Virginia and actually did pretty well at Virginia. When he left Virginia, it was a little bit of a surprise to some degree. And then when he ends up at New Mexico, nobody really knew what to think, right? And obviously we saw them live and in color last year. And, what Bronco Mendenhall has done creating a staff, right, that he has now taken to Utah State. I mean, these guys do such a great job on offense and defense. You watch them offensively. Last year, it was Devin Dampier. Remember the electric quarterback. Quarterback run was a huge part of it. RPO pass game. Dampier goes to Utah, and now Bronco Mendenhall takes the group to Utah State, and they have Bryson Barnes, who's a former Utah quarterback who Washington State fans saw at one point a few years ago. Barnes has had success in his own right. He had a fantastic year for the Aggies this year, both running the ball and passing it, over 700 yards rushing. He's 4 interceptions on the year, a great decision maker. I mean, it always scares me when I see quarterbacks that are dynamic, right, with their arms and their legs. So offensively, it's a very potent group. It's going to be a real challenge for the Coug defense, for sure.
You hear from interim WSU head coach Jesse Bobbitt, who has been the Cougs defensive coordinator, talking about Bryson Barnes. He really praises his toughness. Even though he's got all those rushing yards, he's not shying away from contact.
No, you go back. I watched the tape of the Boise. They played Boise State at the end of the year, their last game, and it was a dogfight. They were leading the game pretty much the whole way. They probably should have won, in all honesty. And Bryson Barnes was taking hits left, right, and center, and he kept popping up, and he kept running the football, and he kept making an impact. And so he's arguably going to be one of the best players on the field. Utah State's going to be down a few guys. Top receivers down, not going to be there. He's in the transfer portal. Good running back, solid offensive line. So again, offensively a challenge. Coug defense played fantastic though, right? Particularly the back half of the season, really the whole season, but statistically the back half of the season. I'm really excited to see that matchup. And then defensively, for Utah State, a lot of the New Mexico transfers came over. They found a few other guys in the portal. Leading tackler John Miller is a former Oregon State Beaver at middle linebacker. This is a stout group. I think Washington State offensively, I would not be surprised to see Danny Freund, the offensive coordinator, throw the ball around the yard a little bit more. I don't think you're going to see quite the same ball control offense we were used to under Jimmy Rogers. I think Danny Freund wants to throw it around a little bit more.
Well, it's fun to think, and this is going to be Zevi Eckhouse last game, that everyone is going to be it's going to be kitchen sink. I know for both teams, but it's your last opportunity. You're trying to get the bowl victory, and there's obviously the uniqueness of WSU where it is you're without who has been your head coach throughout the year, and that means guys will get opportunities, and then whether that is for coaches who are getting opportunities to do something different than what they've done throughout the year, but also players as well that there'll be guys for both teams who will be needed to step up.
Yeah, but I think this is a player-led group. I really feel that way. You think defensively, the veterans on the back end, whether it's Caleb Franzel, Tucker Large, right? Matthew Durant, those guys that came, from South Dakota State, brought the system in. Then you have on the defensive line some kind of stalwarts from Washington State, Ray M. Stevenson, obviously Isaac Terrell. I think that defensive line group has been, incredible the way they've been able to kind of rotate through athletes that have been hurt, bounced back, right, gone into the depth chart. So I think defensively it's going to be player-led, even though, Jesse Bobbitt's still here, but as a head coach, you got a lot of other things going on. It's hard to call a defense when you're doing that. So, again, I see that for sure. And then offensively, obviously you have kind of that core offensive group led by Zevi Eckhouse, right? The challenges are going to be if you're without Brock Dewitt center, right? You got to figure that piece out, but they've had a whole month of prep. And so I feel really good about that spot. Again, I want to see Zevi air this thing out, man. I want to see him let it ride. It's his last college football game. He's given everything to this program the last 2 years, and I think he deserves the opportunity to go out on a high note.
We'll have more on the WSU perspective. We kind of broke down Utah State, what they're bringing to the table, and what the opponent will be like tomorrow. We'll talk more about the Cougs after this. We'll take a timeout. The Cougar Football Hour rolls on. It's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition. We'll be back in downtown Boise after this. You're listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Coug fans, don't miss a single
one more
this
break,
season.
correct?
While camping on the Oregon coast, in the
Yep, one more break.
desert,
and it's
or
our
the
normal
wilderness of
out at like
Yellowstone
57.
in an RV from Valley RV Super
Yeah,
Center.
7.
Valley RVs can
not
come
bad.
with
We'll
all
come back.
the
Maybe we'll
technologies
talk
you'll need.
one or
so
two
you
quick
never
things
miss it
about
down.
WSU.
Wherever
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We are back at the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise. It is the Cougar Football Hour, famous Idaho Potato Bowl preview edition. 11 a.m. kickoff tomorrow, noon here locally. So 11 a.m. Pacific, noon locally here in Boise. That leaves all the fans here in Boise plenty of time to party and celebrate a Cougar victory. I think that's the plan. Exactly. So we're here with Alex Brink and Jessamine McIntyre, and we're talking about WSU going into this game. We sort of gave the preview from the Utah State perspective, and Zevi, maybe a chance to air it out in this game, as you were touching on, Alex, but still, even without Kirby Voorhees in this game, that's a talented running back room. What we've seen Maxwell Woods from him recently, and also Leo Pulalasi. It's been fun, the spark he has provided when he's had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, this is the hard part, right? Offensively, when you have a lot of quality athletes in one room, right? It's hard to figure out where to go with it, and that's been a little bit of the challenge for Washington State this year. Kirby Voorhees kind of emerged, but Leo Pulalasi had flashes. Maxwell Woods at the end of the year. We saw Angel Johnson, pop in that Oregon State game. So again, all three of those guys, right, have a chance. And I'm looking for Leo Pulalasi, right, the Washingtonian, to have a big game. I think, he's been a guy that's been really committed to this program. He's battled some injuries along the way. He shows a real burst when he gets the rock, and I want to see him a little bit more involved, both running the football and in the pass game.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Jerry. What I love about bowl games is seeing people that might not have popped pop. And I love that. And we saw a lot of that. Like you mentioned, Angel Johnson was someone that we were just waiting for. Like, number one, like, go. And we did see that in the Oregon State game. And I think that, this is the time that other people make some choices, and they might enter the transfer portal. But there's so much to be had. And what I noticed about our team, to be honest, and I noticed it a lot during the defensive turnover due to injuries, was the depth. And that the next man up is completely compatible with what they're doing. And it just screams team to me. And so I'm excited to see what everyone has to do. But the run game, specifically Leo, I want to see him pop off, man. He's so strong and he's so big. Like, I'm next to them on the sideline, and some of the guys are my height and weigh 30 pounds less than me, and I'm like, how are you doing this? Leo is a beast, and I really want to see him do some stuff.
There is that depth in the running back room, but also I think back to last year's Holiday Bowl. Kyle Williams set a Holiday Bowl record, and you think about all the talented players who have played in the Holiday Bowl for what he did in that game. And who was the one giving him the ball? Who was the one passing the ball to him? It was Zevi Eckhouse. So let's see if Zevi or someone else he's passing the ball to, maybe we'll be setting a famous Idaho Potato Bowl record tomorrow.
Played.
Yep.
And he played.
And it's certainly
drafted in the NFL, and he played.
Top 70 draft pick in the NFL. We'll take another break here. When we come back, we'll have our final thoughts. We're getting you ready for tomorrow. It's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. WSU taking on Utah State. More from downtown Boise after this. This is the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not
Appreciate
to
it.
Chill.
So I think we're
when your friends get
Back at the Treefort Music Hall in downtown Boise, it is time for our final thoughts as we get you ready here on the Cougar Football Hour for tomorrow's matchup. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, WSU against Utah State, here with Alex Brink and Jessamine McIntyre. We'll switch it up. Jess, we'll start with you first. We got a minute here roughly. What are you most excited for tomorrow?
I'm excited to watch this team once again because this is my 14th season covering Washington State football, and it has been quite a ride, guys. It has been quite a ride. And I am very excited. I come from a coaching family. I'm very excited for this team to have 4 more weeks together, 1 more game together. I'm excited for that. And I know it's a competition and everything, but I do a little bit of a bigger picture when it comes to bowl games. I am very happy to watch them play together one more time as a team as it exists.
Alex?
Yeah, I think this is a microcosm of Washington State football the last few years, right? You know, left for dead, beat down, knocked out. Then you come back and you're back here. You're in a bowl game, 9 out of 10 full seasons. You got a new head football coach we're all excited about. One more opportunity for this team and these seniors to get out there and compete again for Washington State. I'm so fired up for this.
Well said. For Jessamine McIntyre, Alex Brink, Zane Saggio back in the Cougar Sports Network studios. Our crew making the audio and video happen. Jerry Kylo on the audio side, Jared Pringruber on the video side, and this great crowd. This has been awesome. We will talk to you tomorrow. Coverage starts at 9 a.m., kickoff at 11 a.m. That's Pacific time. Cougs taking on the Aggies, famous Idaho Potato Bowl. You've been listening to the Cougar Football Hour on the Cougar Sports Network. There we go. All right.
This has been